My parents smirked and said, "Your kids will never matter as much as your sisters. That's just how it is." I stood up and said, "Great. Then from now on, she can cover all your expenses. I'm done." Their faces changed instantly as I walked out. Original post. I, 37 female, had been with my husband Derek, 39, for 11 years. We had two amazing kids, Emma, 8, and Lucas, 5. They were everything to me. Emma was this brilliant little reader who devoured chapter books like candy, and Lucas had this infectious laugh that could light up any room. He was obsessed with building things with Legos, creating these elaborate structures that honestly impressed me. My sister Victoria, 33, had one daughter, Harper, who was 7. I loved my niece, truly. But what made my blood boil was how my parents, Patricia and Tom, acted like my children were invisible while Harper was treated like royalty. It wasn't always this obvious. When Emma was born, my parents seemed excited. They visited the hospital, brought gifts, took photos. But when Victoria had Harper 2 years later, something shifted. Suddenly, every conversation revolved around Harper's milestones. Harper's first words, Harper's first steps, Harper's preschool graduation. By the time Lucas came along, my parents barely showed up to the hospital. My mom stayed for 20 minutes, held him once, then said she had to get back because Victoria needed help with Harper's ballet recital costume. The favoritism became a pattern. Emma's straight-A report cards got a "That's nice, honey," while Harper's single participation ribbon from a school field day got framed and hung in my parents' living room. Lucas's kindergarten play, where he had a speaking role, my parents didn't show up because Harper had a dentist appointment the same day. I tried to brush it off. I told myself they were just closer to Victoria, that maybe I was being sensitive. Derek would hold me at night when I cried about it, reminding me that our kids had us, and that's what mattered. But I couldn't ignore it anymore. Not after what happened 6 weeks ago. My parents had called a family dinner at their house. They said it was important that they had something to discuss with all of us. Derek and I showed up with the kids, who were excited because my dad had promised them ice cream sundaes for dessert. Victoria was already there with Harper when we arrived. My mom was fussing over Harper's hair, braiding it while Harper showed her some dance moves. My dad was recording it on his phone, laughing and clapping. "Hey, Mom, Dad," I said, walking in with Emma and Lucas trailing behind me. My mom glanced up briefly. "Oh, you're here. Good. Sit down."
No hoop.
No acknowledgement of my kids. Emma's face fell. She'd been practicing a poem all week to recite for her grandparents. We sat at the dining table. My mom had made pot roast, my dad's favorite. The smell was incredible, and despite my irritation, my stomach growled. Lucas immediately asked if he could help set the table, something he'd been learning to do at home. "Not now, sweetie," my mom said dismissively, not even looking at him. "Harper's going to help me." Derek squeezed my hand under the table. I could feel the anger rising in my chest, but I swallowed it down. Dinner started normally enough. We made small talk about work and weather. Emma tried several times to share about her school project, a detailed diorama about the solar system, but every time she opened her mouth, Victoria would interrupt with something about Harper's latest achievement. Harper got selected for the advanced reading group, Victoria announced proudly. "That's wonderful," my mom gushed. "Our little genius." Emma looked down at her plate. She'd been in the advanced reading group since first grade. Nobody had ever called her a genius. Then came the announcement. My dad cleared his throat and stood up, raising his glass of wine. "Your mother and I wanted to gather everyone here tonight because we have some big news." I felt Derek tense beside me. "We've decided to set up a college fund," my dad continued. "We've been saving for years, and we want to make sure our granddaughter has every opportunity in life." Granddaughter. Singular. My heart stopped. "We're putting $80,000 into an account for Harper," my mom added, beaming. "It should cover most of her tuition when the time comes." The room went silent except for Victoria's delighted gasp. "Mom, Dad, that's incredibly generous." I couldn't find words. My throat felt tight. Emma and Lucas didn't fully understand what was happening, but Emma looked confused, like She knew something was wrong. What about Emma and Lucas? I finally managed to ask, my voice shaking. My parents exchanged a look. My dad sat back down and sighed like I'd just asked something unreasonable. Well, honey, my mom started, her tone patronizing. We only have so much saved up. We can't divide it 3 ways. That wouldn't be fair to Harper. Fair to Harper? I repeated, feeling heat creep up my neck. How is giving her everything and giving my kids nothing fair? Victoria jumped in. Come on, don't be dramatic. Your kids are fine. They don't need. Don't you dare tell me what my kids need, I snapped. My dad held up his hand. Let's not turn this into a fight. We've made our decision. Harper is Victoria's only child, and frankly, Victoria needs more help than you do. You and Derek are doing fine financially. That's not the point, I said, louder than I intended. Emma started to tear up. Lucas looked scared. My mom leaned back in her chair and gave me this look. This smug, condescending look that I'd seen 100 times growing up whenever I questioned her authority. Honey, she said slowly, you need to understand something. Your kids will never matter as much as your sisters. That's just how it is. The words hit me like a slap. My dad nodded in agreement, actually smirking like this was some universal truth I should have accepted years ago. The room spun. I looked at Derek, whose face had gone red with rage. I looked at my kids, Emma now crying silently, Lucas clutching his stuffed dinosaur. I looked at Victoria, who wouldn't meet my eyes but didn't protest either. Something inside me snapped. I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the floor. Great, I said, my voice steady now, cold. Then from now on, she can cover all your expenses. I'm done. My mom's smirk vanished. What? You heard me. I'm done. Done with the favoritism. Done with you treating my children like they're worthless. And done paying for your bills. My dad's face went pale. Now wait just a minute.
No, interrupta.
You wait. Do you know how much money I've given you over the past 5 years? Let me spell it out for you. Your mortgage payment when Dad lost his job? That was $4,000 for me. Mom's knee surgery that insurance didn't cover? $8,500. The new roof last year? $12,000. Your property taxes every year? Another $6,000. I've been covering your grocery bills, your utility bills when they got too high, Dad's car repairs. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app, scrolling through years of transfers. I've given you over $60,000 in the past 5 years alone. $60,000 that could have gone into my kids' futures. And you just told me to my face that my kids don't matter. My mom's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Victoria looked shocked. Surely you don't mean... My dad started. I mean every word. Victoria's kid is so special? Fine. Victoria can take over. The mortgage payment that's due next week? Call her. The electric bill? Call her. That vacation to Florida you've been planning? Ask Victoria for the money. You're being unreasonable, my mom said, but her voice wavered. I'm being unreasonable? You just gave $80,000 to one grandchild and told me my 2 kids will never matter as much. You didn't even pretend to care. Derek stood up and put his hand on my shoulder. We're leaving. Emma, Lucas, get your coats, I said. As we gathered our things, my parents started backtracking. Let's talk about this, my dad said desperately.
We didn't mean it like that.
You meant exactly what you said. And I'm finally listening. My mom reached for my arm. You can't just abandon us. We're your parents. I pulled away. You abandoned my kids first. You've been doing it for years. I was just too blind to see it. Victoria finally spoke up, her voice small. I didn't ask them to do this. But you didn't stop them either, I said. You've watched them treat Emma and Lucas like second-class grandchildren for years and said nothing. You're just as guilty. We walked out. Emma was still crying. Lucas asked if he did something wrong. Derek carried him to the car while I buckled Emma in, whispering to her that none of this was her fault, that she was perfect and loved and extraordinary. The drive home was silent except for the kids' sniffles. When we got home, Derek made them hot chocolate while I tucked them into bed early. I read them extra stories, held them tight, promised them they were valued and important and loved beyond measure. After they fell asleep, I sat on the couch with Derek. My phone started buzzing immediately. Texts from my mom, my dad, even Victoria. Mom, we need to talk about this rationally. Dad, you're overreacting. Come back so we can discuss this. Victoria, you're tearing this family apart over money. I blocked all three of them. The next morning, I called a family lawyer. I wanted to make sure my parents had no legal claim to anything involving my kids. No grandparents' rights visits, nothing. The lawyer said I was well within my rights to cut contact and that grandparents' rights in our state were limited. I also called my financial advisor and set up college funds for Emma and Lucas. I took the $5,000 I'd planned to give my parents for their property taxes and split it between two 529 plans. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Over the next 2 weeks, my parents called relentlessly. I didn't answer. They showed up at my house twice. I didn't open the door. They sent letters. I threw them away unopened. Victoria sent one text that got through before I'd blocked her completely. Mom and Dad can't afford their bills without your help. What do you want me to do? I replied, figure it out. You're the favorite. Then I blocked her too. Derek's parents, who lived across the country, called when they heard what happened. They were furious on our behalf. They immediately sent $1,000 for each kid's college fund and promised to visit next month to spoil Emma and Lucas properly. 3 weeks after I walked out, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was Victoria, calling from someone else's phone. They're going to lose the house, she said without preamble. The bank sent a foreclosure notice. I can't cover their mortgage. I don't have that kind of money. Then I guess they'll have to downsize, I said calmly. Are you serious? You'd let them lose their home? They made their choice. I'm making mine. What about family? Victoria's voice cracked. Family protects each other. Family doesn't rank children. Family doesn't tell a mother that her kids don't matter. They stopped being family when they said those words. She was quiet for a long moment. Harper keeps asking why Emma and Lucas don't come around anymore. Tell her the truth. Tell her that her grandparents decided she was worth $80,000 and my kids were worth nothing, and that I refuse to accept that. It's not that simple. It really is, I interrupted.
Good, Victoria.
I hung up. A month later, I heard through Derek's aunt who knew someone that my parents had sold their house. They moved into a small apartment across town. Victoria apparently couldn't sustain helping them financially after all. I felt no guilt.
None.
Instead, I felt free. Emma's confidence came back. She joined the school debate team and won her first competition. Lucas started taking piano lessons and discovered he had a natural talent for it. We started having Sunday dinners at Derek's parents' house via video call, and Emma and Lucas loved showing their grandparents their achievements. My kids matter. They matter so much. And I will never let anyone, not even my own parents, tell me otherwise ever again. Some bridges need to burn. And I'm standing on the other side, watching the flames with my family beside me, finally at peace.